All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to get all infinite praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Chakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the elder bishops, across the formers of the earth that puts it teaching this truth, and side teachers to the hopeful elect. Now, coming back to you through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, with no lesson exaltation, Lord's will. It's quick and edifying, straight to the point. Now, just coming at you with another quick little lesson. The Lord's will is not that quick, but so lucky. But yeah, Lord's will is quick and edifying to you, hopeful elect after, man. And, you see the title. You know what I'm saying? It says, I thought y'all keep the laws though. You know what I'm saying? According to speaking of IUIC and them going off when they're, you know, going off and then quote unquote keeping the law. No, I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying, be long with it or nothing, but I'm just gonna play this video and hopefully y'all can hear it good. No. Matter of fact, I'm gonna actually let y'all see it. I'm gonna let y'all see it actually. All right, here you go. Jehovah Witness? No. We're Israelites. Oh, y'all believe in having multiple Bible stuff because no. As this going on, you got Eve just big. You can tell she big as hell. Look at the face, man. Anyway. No. Because multiple wives that's not business. Nah. Listen to what he says. Right, I'm gonna go back. No. We're Israelites. Oh, y'all believe in having multiple Bible stuff because no. Listen. Multiple wives, that's not business. Multiple wives is not biblical. Multiple wives is not biblical, he says, man. This right here, because multiple wives, that's not biblical. It's not biblical. It's not biblical, right? Oh goodness. But these are the same guys that boast in the fact that they keep the laws, statute commandments, keep the laws, statute commandments, keep the laws, statute commandments, right? I was wondering, I'm no judgment. It is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, lest any man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. So, if you got your own husband, can you have another wife? I mean, I say no. But he just explained it weird as hell. Say, if you got your own husband, can you have another wife? What the hell? What? Bible say no as well. So what that person's doing that you know. What scripture is that? 1 Corinthians 7, chapter 1 Corinthians chapter 7. Goodness. Matter of fact, so like, bear with me one quick second. So like, Yeah, man, you heard exactly what he says. Play it one more time for you. Bible say no as well. No. We're Israelites. Oh, y'all believe in having multiple wives and stuff because no. Watch it. Because multiple wives that's not in the law. That's not biblical. That's a lie. Listen, this right here in New Haven, I'm just wondering. I'm no judgment. It is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let any man have his own wife. Have his what? Own wife. Uh-huh. And let every woman have her own husband. So, if you got your own husband, can you have another one? That's a long ass bag of fucking popcorn. A long ass bag of pop. Oh my goodness. Whatever. I mean, I say no. But the Bible say no as well. So what that person is doing that you know. What scripture is that? First Corinthians 7, chapter. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verses 1 through 2. Okay, I got it in my mind. She got it in her mind now because she's going to use it on every man she fucking deals with. With every man that she fucking deals with. And you niggas are, bro. Anyways, let's just continue on with the video. And then they're going to be off. They only listen to the leadership. That's all it is. Did you listen to the leadership going off and just, you know, at the end of the day, just spreading false doctrine, man. Let's get the scripture. Let's go to the law. Let's go to the law, right? This is in the law. The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 10, right? This is from the law. It reads, if he, right? He, a man, right? An Israelite man, if he take him another wife, right? If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish? Right? Let me read that one more time. The book of Exodus, chapter 21, and verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish? Verse 11. If he do not, so like, and if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. Meaning, if you don't do none of the things that which you ought to do with your second wife, and you're not doing it with your first wife, or you're starting to neglect the first wife, really it don't matter, right? You neglect one of your wives and show one, ain't that gonna happen, but deal with both accordingly. Deal with all your wives accordingly. That's basically what it says. Verse 10, it says if you was to get another wife, you got one wife right now, okay, cool. But if you want another one, all right, these three things you should not diminish from her. These things you should not neglect, right? Which is, what I'm saying, of course, food, raiment, clothes, whatever. What I'm saying, her duty of marriage, all the responsibilities that, what I'm saying, she have to take upon. You also have to take upon your responsibilities of taking care of her, right? She take care of you, you take care of her. The same, just simple, the most simplest thing to understand, especially involving a relationship, involving marriage. Nowadays, just the women is on top of shit. You know, nowadays women they expect this and that, the third. What I'm saying, bills to be paid and this and that. Right? And with the and Another thing, IUIC kiss the ass of women so fucking bad. They kiss the ass of women bad as fuck. Bad as fuck. You know? Bad as hell, man. They quit to uplift a sister. You know what I'm saying? They quick as hell for that shit. But anyways, read it one more time. Straight from the law. The book of Exodus, chapter 21, and verse 10. And it reads, if he, an Israelite man, if he take him another wife, her food and her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish? Right? Matter of fact, let's go into that word diminish. What that word diminish means. Diminish. Right? It means to make or become less. To become less. Let's go into some words, similar words of it, right? Similar words for diminish. Decrease, decline, reduce, right? Fall off. Let's see, more words, more words. Uh, to let up, come to an end, right? Undermine, right? And that's about it, you know? In verse 11, and if he do not these three things, Salaki, and if he do not these three things unto her, then shall she go out free without money, meaning she free to go. You ain't gotta pay off no debt, no nothing, you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, right? You ain't gotta make no payment or shekels or anything to the father or anybody. You know, she's free to go if you choose to neglect her, right? And with um matter of fact, let me do this. It is what it is. Well, now let's go to First Corinthians chapter 7. Cause they say what that one scripture they read. Let's see. Right, they read it from up here. First Corinthians chapter 7 to verse 1. Right, and matter of fact, so like bear with me. All right, so like that. Yeah, First Corinthians chapter 7 to verse 1. And it reads, Now concerning the thing now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Right. Possible all he was saying it is, you know what I'm saying, it is best to stay single. It is best to stay single, you know? It's best to stay single. Verse 2, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Let the husband render unto the wife and do benevolence, benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. The wife have not power of her own body, but the husband, and likewise also the husband have not power of his own body, but the wife. You know, and the Apostle Paul is just trying to make things equal, but really what he was saying, especially in the first verse, man, it's better to just be single. Because with marriage, what I'm saying, having children and this and that, the third, it takes away time from doing the work. It takes away time from doing the work, right? Because the Lord wants this man to be focused upon the truth, to focus on doing his work, right? So not really talking about that whatsoever, right? And as it says in verse 2, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. Now, it's already a sin. It's already adultery if a woman to go sleep with another man that is not her husband. But for a man, we just read the law. We just read the law, you know. And in these times, it's not, permittable, or it's not wise to have multiple wives in these times to come. In these times we living in, that's the time to come. You know. Uh, jump down. Where it goes into where I'm at. You get it back now, Bob. I'm back. Let's see. Where was it? Right. Matter of fact, yeah. Let me do this real quick. This I won't, you know, less distractions. So like you. All right. So like you. Less, very less distractions, man. Just saying, try to do a video and saying, people get in the way, keep people start walking around and shit like that. Yeah, man. It's just whatever. Um. Yeah. First Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 32. It reads, "But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried care for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife." Right? That's the things that a married man has to worry about. You know, to please his wife, to please his children if they have any. You know, yet if he's still end up doing the work of the Lord, beautiful. But what I'm saying, this man want more time with the Lord. Ultimately, though, the family, all that going to get in the way, which is why in the first verse, which why Apostle Paul said, man, that it's just better to be single. It's just better to be single. It's better for a man to just stay away from a woman, what I'm saying, be like him or whatever, right? As he says, you know, uh, right here in verse 7, start from verse 6. But I speak this by permission and not of commandment, for I would that all men were even as I myself. But every man have his proper gift of the Most High, one after this manner and another after that. So what I'm saying, brothers, is how I'm gonna say this. with everybody that's in this truth, you're gonna have some that's, have family, of course, families. But also with those brothers that, single but still dealing with women, just, hitting them off and just go, you know? Or there's some brothers that don't even deal with women whatsoever, right? It's just a spirit that the Lord got upon his men. The Lord put upon your spirit to, deal with X amount of women. That's a spirit he placed upon you. If the Lord places upon your spirit, you shouldn't deal with no women. Okay, that's upon you, right? It's not a law, as the Apostle Paul said, man. But I speak this by permission and not a commandment. So it's not a law, really, you know. But just think of it like wise, just being wise in these times and knowing how to move and being in the truth, right? All it is just knowing how to operate, knowing how to deal with these women. If you don't want to deal with no women, okay, cool. If you don't want to be in a relationship with a woman, then you don't got to. You don't have to, you know? And if you got a woman you love her, okay, cool. That's beautiful. God damn, man. Fuck. Lucky. But anyways, yeah. Going back down to verse 32 again, right? But I will have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried care for the things that belong to the Lord, how he may please the Lord. But he that is married care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife. There is differences also between a wife and a virgin. The unmarried woman care for the things that are of the Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit. But she that is married care for the things of the world, how she may please her husband. And this I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you, but for that which is comely, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distractions. Right? So it's all about just keeping yourself focused with with Yahweh by Yahweh Shai, right? Continue in the business of which you've been placing, you know? Yeah, man. I'm gonna get these in the NOT. Let's see what it says in the NOT. First Corinthians chapter 7, verse 30. Right? First Corinthians chapter 7 verse 32 in the NOT. I want you to be free from the concerns of this life. An unmarried man can spend his time doing the Lord's work and thinking how to please him. Exactly. But a married man has to think about his earthly responsibilities and how to please his wife. His interests are divided in the same way a woman who is no longer married, really a virgin, you know, a woman who is a virgin or has never been married can be devoted to the Lord and holy in body and in spirit. But a married woman has to think about her earthly responsibilities and how to please her husband. I am saying this for your benefit, not to place restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord best with as few distractions as possible. As I'm doing this video, is my granddad, he's at crank on the fucking well, it's not pertaining to the actual topic, but just to give you an example of with distractions, right? 'Cause I done had a few when trying to do this video, as well as the last video I just did, or the live I just did, and the live I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? You got my people just doing whatever. I mean, they do that, for themselves. Grandma, she just went on a walk. She just put her clothes on the line and shit like that. My granddad, he's out here working on the yard, and the damn lawnmower off, but it's still distractions whatsoever for me. You know, especially with the noise and this and that, the third. You know, the Lord don't want you to have. It's gonna be distractions one with another. It's gonna be distractions, but it got to be fewer distractions. You know what I'm saying? That don't play. Basically, don't involve things in your life which are going to cause more distractions than what your life already consists of. Right? That's basically what I'm trying to say, man. You know what I'm saying? Not the best at speaking, right? But the Lord just wants you to focus on Him as much as possible. As much as possible. You know? Your only desire, you know what I'm saying, being in this truth, you know what I'm saying, you take heed to this word and take heed to the message that is being spread abroad. Your only desire is to get closer with Yahweh while Yahweh Shai. That's your only desire. You know what I'm saying? That's ought to be your only desire. You know? And with the IUIC and them constantly, you know what I'm saying, spreading false doctrine and not actually studying, which is reading the scriptures and going to the scriptures itself, you know, which, like I said before, really starting this video, the only um how I said it, is from their leadership. The only teaching from their leadership, what they know and what they learn is from the leadership, right? So it's Bishop Nathaniel's fault. It's his fault, man. You know, it's not wicked to have multiple women. Matter of fact, he even said that, you know what I'm saying, Isaiah 4:1 is going to happen in the kingdom. So what you mean to tell me that this is what is, you know, this how you know, this how you dissect the bullshit. So you mean to tell me that Isaiah 4:1, you're gonna have multiple women in the kingdom, but it's gonna be distress and chaos and, you know, in the kingdom where it's really supposed to be peace? Cause that's the prophecy. The reason why these women are gonna come to us, the reason Isaiah 4:1, you know what I'm saying, it says, let's actually go read that real quick. Let's actually go read that. Isaiah 4:1. Isaiah 4:1. And in that day, several women shall take, matter of reading NLT. In that day, so few men will be left that 7 women will fight for each man. So you mean to tell me our women gonna be fighting each other in the kingdom? You mean to fucking tell me that our women gonna be fighting each other in the kingdom? You try to get at a man? Cause why? Saying let us all marry you. Some may fight, or some, you know what I'm saying. It depends on how the way it's going to go. But ultimately, you're gonna have a few females going to be fighting over a man in these days, man. You bitches could be fighting for sure, right? But you mean to tell me that it's gonna be chaos and this and that the third? You know what I'm saying? These females ain't gonna have no way of living whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? Let me just continue with the scripture. In that day, so few men will be left that 7 women will fight for each man, saying, "Let us all marry you. We will provide our own food and clothing, or only let us take your name, so we won't be mocked as old maids." This is not going to happen in the kingdom. They're going to finish out to the kingdom, right? But it's not going to start in the kingdom. It's going to start during Jacob's trouble, which we in now. And then the rest is going to be in the kingdom. The rest of this chapter, you know, the rest is going to be in the kingdom. The fact that he said that this could be in Isaiah 4-1 is gonna take place in the kingdom, it's crazy fucking work. So you basically saying it's gonna be chaos in the kingdom. You basically saying that it's gonna be chaos in the kingdom, right? It's gonna be people killing each other in the kingdom. It's gonna be mass looting, riots everywhere. That's what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying. If you say that, oh, Isaiah 1 is gonna take place in the kingdom. You know how fucking retarded and dumb that shit sounds? But listen, your congregation are nothing but fucking zombies. So they're gonna believe in everything that you fucking say. They wanna kiss your ass bad. And for the elect that is amongst y'all, they're gonna see it. And I just hope that some of them may cuss y'all ass out. Cause what the fuck y'all got going on, man? I don't know what the fuck is that on his shoulder. Some other shit. Whatever. But yeah. Anyways, man. That's really all it is. That I'm gonna bring out. You know, but these guys here, man, they're gonna constantly go off and go off and go off and you know, they don't keep the law, statutes, commandments like they say they do, man. They don't keep it like they say they do. Matter of fact, let me go to the book of Matthew, chapter 23. Let me go real quick. The book of Matthew, chapter 23, starting at verse 1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in. Oh my gosh. Hold on, man. God damn. Let me go ahead and finish this so I won't be bothered no more, man. I really do hate this shit. I hate distractions. I hate being bothered when I'm doing something. I really do hate that shit. Matthew chapter 23 and verse 1. Then spake Yahushua to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat. That's what these guys are. They them scribes and Pharisees, them wicked scribes and Pharisees. Verse 3. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. But do not ye after their works, for they say and do not. For they bind heavy burdens and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Hey, the third verse. The third verse is the main point, man. You know, they'll say this and they tell you to do this and do that, but yet in all reality, they're not doing it. They're their damn selves, right? What is what is. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. Lord's will, y'all was edified. Until the next time, it's your Shalom. All right.